GoCastNetwork.
All right, you're listening to the Stimulus Package podcast with Dante and Rebecca.
This is very exciting.
My name is Rebecca Cochin, and I am a very beautiful actress here in Hollywood. I'm the star of like 20 horror films and 10 gay comedy cult films, and I'm beautiful and perfect. And
Oh, wow. What a nice way to start the show. Thanks,
talking
Rebecca.
about myself.
Yeah.
And this is my boyfriend, Dante.
Hi, my name's Dante. I've performed for more U.S. troops than anybody since Bob Hope. I was
What?
a finalist on Last Comic Standing.
You were?
I've opened for Richard Pryor. Ever heard of him? I have a big penis.
All right, this is getting weird. Anyway, if this is your first time
Weird when
listening,
you started.
I know. If this is your first time listening to the show, we are a comedy couple. We both do stand-up comedy. We both write for the show Fashion Police, which we'll talk about in a minute.
We'll hit on that in a tick.
And we're both actors, and
Stuff like that.
I mentioned a lot of her credits. If you are a horror film fan,
Horror,
you should check out her movies. Probably the best known ones are like When a Killer Calls, Halloween Night, The Telling, Fluebird Horror, and
all
on
right.
and on.
They're bad, scary movies. Let's be honest.
And
but if you're into that sort of thing,
absolutely,
which a lot of people are.
And we both
Hey,
co-starred
I don't judge.
in the Inappropriate Comedy that just left movie theaters about a week ago after being in them for about 45 minutes. And
I don't think it was even that. It was more like 20 minutes, I think.
yeah. And today we're going to have a guest who's not here yet. So as soon as he comes in, we'll introduce him. He also is a co-writer on Fashion Police.
Yes.
And we will get to more of that in a little bit. But
Right.
I wanted to let the world know that
world.
tonight is Rebecca's birthday show.
Birthday show! Woo! Zippity zow!
Her birthday is next, what is it? Sunday, right?
babe. Sunday.
It's on Sunday, this Sunday, the 28th. And she is going to be 21 years old.
I'm going to be 14, actually.
14? Wow. So anyway, so her birthday is coming up. So this is our big birthday show, and I got her a big cake that we already ate just before the show.
You made me a cake. Oh, you mean in Radioland.
In Radioland.
I see. That didn't happen.
No.
Because I'm hungry.
Are you?
Yeah,
All right.
sure am.
Well, we're going to have steak sandwiches in case anyone cares. I barbecued steaks yesterday.
They shouldn't. Oh, poor Jansen's growling from back there.
Jansen, are you hungry?
I don't know if he's hungry or...
Now, Jansen's one of our sound guys. The other one apparently is fired. So
Shh, we're not allowed to talk about official business, babe, on the
He
radio.
can. I said, "Where's Dick?" And I heard from a lot of people that he's no longer
we
here.
haven't had any concrete information, but trying to get information out of Jansen is like...
I know. Jansen told us
impossible.
nothing. He told us
nothing. I was
nothing.
like, I have to use a blink system, like blink twice if this happened. Nothing.
Nothing. We got nothing out of him. But Jansen, we've been hearing
I don't know what's going
that Dick
on.
is no longer
people
here.
don't tell me stuff. Blah. Yeah, I know. That's what I hear. Dick used to be around. No more Dick, folks. No more Dick. Hear that, babe?
Ay. Anyway, if this is your first time listening, normally what we have on this show is we have guests that are usually in the entertainment business, but not always. But usually book authors, sports figures, actors, comedians, singers, rock groups, and on and on and on. And if you want to check us out, we have probably almost 100 past episodes. Just go to iTunes. You can subscribe. They are free.
We run the gamut of celebrities that we've had on the show.
Right. And the show is called Stimulus Package. And I believe, Jansen, did you guys ever switch the ones that were Stimulus Package After Dark over to just say Stimulus Package?
Not yet, but you can still find Stimulus Package After Dark on iTunes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So if you guys want to check that one out, you can. And we're probably going to try to merge them into just Stimulus.
Jansen Lefevre, everybody. Jansen Lefevre.
That's me.
That's
him.
him.
It's like the coolest name ever.
Ever. Coolest radio name ever. Jansen Lefevre.
You know what it reminds me of? Like he would be like the cool like guy at a disco in the 70s. Oh man, that's Jansen Lefevre.
Ooh, I don't want to mess with him.
I wouldn't mess with Jansen Lefevre. I like your pink shirt, babe.
Thanks. You know what my daughter said to me, and I'm not making this up because
What?
I drove here from being with my daughter. She goes, "Daddy, you're wearing a pink shirt." And I said, "Yeah, I'm wearing a pink shirt." She goes, "Do they sell men's clothes there?"
Heyo, did she really say that to you?
Yes, she goes,
It's really funny.
Because if that's a woman's shirt, I'd like to get one. That's what she said.
But she wasn't trying to be funny.
She was not trying to be funny, and I was like, that is very funny what you just said.
Aw, did it make you feel good inside?
No, it didn't bother me. I don't care if I wear pink.
Because you're confident.
I'm very confident. I have the
In
most
your-
beautiful girlfriend in the world. And
What's her name? I'm just kidding.
I'd like to introduce you to at some point. It'd be really hot if you two kissed.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Oh, you typical into lesbian stuff. Typical men. You're all the same.
Listen,
except the gay
listeners,
ones.
I want to point this out. Our GoCast website has been going under some changes, so there will be new stuff for you to check out and some new shows and different shows, and some have gone away. But if you ever want to call in and talk to us live, you can't do this if you're listening at something you download at iTunes. But if you're checking us out live, we are on the West Coast, and we do it every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m.
Yes.
Pacific Standard Time. Our number here is 818-850-7746. You can call in with questions, or I know everything, so you can ask me anything and I can answer it.
Aw, that's so convenient that you know everything.
Yep.
Wow, lucky me.
Like, ask me a question.
No, thanks. Yeah, okay. How come you keep drinking
Purple.
those monster
Purple.
drinks when you know they're going to give you a heart attack?
They're not going to give me a heart attack.
That's a good
It's
question.
just coffee, basically.
No,
I can't
it's
have a
not.
couple of coffees in a day.
You are being so ridiculous that we're
All right.
actually having this argument again. Monster is so bad for you. It's doing things to your body that you're not supposed to do.
Guess what? Our
Right?
Oh my
Oh
God!
my God, Jansen,
Hey,
thank
you guys!
you.
Hey, our guest is
Jansen,
here.
no, before
We're
going to
not
introduce our
talking about
guest.
the-
Yes, monster's not good for you.
Thank you,
Ladies
thank
and
you,
gentlemen,
Jansen.
coming into the room right now.
Yay! Please sit down.
This gentleman, and you are in that camera if you ever decide you want to look into it.
Or that one. I can't remember.
He's in that one. Anyway, he is a fellow fashion police writer, and he let me give his background. He started writing for radio in the 1930s. He went on to write for He went on to write for the Show of Shows. He was Johnny
a classic
Carson's
one.
head writer, and he's only 32 years old. Everybody,
Ish.
Yay!
Ned Rice is here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and being on our program.
Such a treat.
None of those were right, were they? I got the
No.
wrong bio?
Yeah.
Was that like Sid Caesar's bio or something?
Yeah,
Maybe,
I worked
babe.
on Thomas Edison's first film. It's been slow since then.
Wow.
Damn it. They
never
always give me
stop.
Sid Caesar's bio.
Good guy.
So, did you have problem finding parking or finding this joint?
I had problem finding everything.
Yeah?
Always
Oh,
lost.
I'm so sorry.
I get lost a lot.
So, we haven't even talked about what's going on
In
with,
my life, well,
with Fashion Police.
Well, on the
that.
show, we haven't. Yes, we haven't actually sat down and had a real conversation.
yeah,
about
we've
the
talked
show, so-
about it, I think, last week. We said that we're on strike.
Yes.
But
No, we
have-
didn't. No, we didn't, because at that point, you weren't.
You're right. That's right.
That's right.
It's been 1 week as of today.
Yeah.
At 11 p.m. last week, or was it midnight?
11 p.m. Tuesday.
11 p.m. last Tuesday, we went on strike. So you're right. We did not talk about it on the show.
I'm a genius.
A look back.
A look back.
No, that's too soon for a look back.
So, Ned, how long have you been writing for Fashion Police?
2.5 years. Since it
Wow,
started.
since it started. You were there day one?
When the first show I worked on, we had leisure suits. It was a long time ago.
Wow.
Was your nickname
Elephant bells.
Jansen Lefevre?
That's his
That's
name.
his real name.
His
right
name
there.
is Jansen Lefevre.
Doesn't that sound like a leisure suit guy, Jansen Lefevre?
We're not making this
Big
up.
time.
That's his actual name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
So we're related. That's good.
Oh, Lefevre, huh?
So
Funny.
back then, though, it was a half-hour show
Right.
and half of the work, obviously, right?
Yep.
Or even less, because now there's new games and things that have come up over the
half,
years.
About half.
Crazy.
Yeah. And 5 or 6 writers, and yeah, it was different.
Yeah.
But it was a new show, and it worked, and it caught on, and it got better, and
It's a great show. Who else? Is there anyone else in our group that started with you, like Michael or anyone?
Dennis, Michael, Tony. I think that's all.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Jackie Beat came later. and-
Jackie was later. Liza was later.
And you should tell everyone what's going on. So there's basically 9 writers.
And well, we have talking points because we don't want to overstep boundaries
Oh,
here.
good.
Do you have those?
I don't have them with
Why don't
me.
I give them to you since we want to interview you?
Are you
but
mailing them to me?
no, I'll just hand you my phone. I trust you, buddy.
Exciting.
You can read all his personal stuff.
Yeah.
Babe, what are you doing?
I'm just looking for the email
Jesus
from
Christ.
Melody because
This is taking so long.
This is
Here's
some
the
good
thing.
radio.
I know. Good
you know
Lord.
what? People
No,
are
I-
interested.
No.
There is no slow moment or anything.
There is no slow moment
No.
or anything.
There are not. And we can even just go point by point if you want, or you can say whatever you want. I just know that, when you're in something like this, you don't quite know what you can and can't say. Like me and a couple of other people blogged about this last week, and the group was like, oh, you shouldn't say this, or, the WGA says, don't overstep that because we're not sure about that yet. or-
Right. But
and so, what?
Give everyone an overview of what's going on. So you guys are on strike because...
What's this about me being nude?
Right. You have to take
That's
out
not
your
one of the
dick at some
talking points.
point. You know that, right? Everyone has to take out their dick on this show.
It's in my wife's purse.
Oh.
Now, listen,
Oh,
come
hey-o.
on.
Good Lord.
How long have
These
you
are
been
the
married?
talking points. Since 1998.
Wow.
Those are talking points.
Those are the talking points.
I'm gonna keep them right there in the middle
All
of
right.
the table.
All right. Sounds good. So why don't you describe what we're doing and why we're doing it? I mean, she and I obviously know, but the listeners want to know.
E initially was a network that didn't do guild contracts. So people that wrote for E shows were writing for very low rates of pay and no benefits. And that's just how the network was, and that's the deal.
Right.
And then they started giving guild contracts to other scripted comedy shows on the network.
Chelsea and the Soup.
Chelsea and the Soup,
Right.
and Love You Mean It, and
Yeah,
Ross's new shows, a bunch of other shows.
Yeah, Love You Mean It. It was only on the air for about 3 months, right? And
Right.
it had a guild contract to begin with.
Yeah.
Viewers hated it and meant
Right.
it. So, thank you. So,
It's true, though.
with that in mind, as soon as I started working on the show, because I'm a guild member, you have to try to organize the show, which I did, and me and Dennis and other people were saying we really want to become a guild show,
Right.
And the network just stalled us and delayed us, and eventually it kind of went away
Well, for people out there who aren't in the business who are listening, why do we want it to be a guild show?
because you get a minimum amount
Right.
of salary and benefits
And
when you-
protection.
and protection
Right.
security when you have a guild contract. And without a guild contract, you work for pennies on the dollar and zero benefits.
Were you guys
Nothing.
making less than we are now for the half hour, or was it the same pay?
Mine was the same. Mine has never changed. I've never gotten a raise
Really?
in 2.5
my
So
years.
when you
God.
went to double the work, it stayed the same
exactly
rate.
the same.
Correct.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even until this one time when we do those award shows where we're sitting in a room for 16 hours that they
yep.
ever, when it went to an hour and a half, or what was it, the Super Bowl or something else?
The Super Bowl. It was for the Oscars.
For the Oscars.
Which is the Super Bowl of fashion.
We had to beg them to get another
First, they told us we would get
bonus.
a day and a half pay.
day and a half.
And then I emailed the executive producer and said, so should I invoice for this amount? She said, no, sorry. And then I got an email later saying, well, I guess we can do that. Like it was a favor. And wow.
Wow.
That was
Right.
really not cool.
So we wrote an hour and a half show, and we were promised the minute it was, because Joan actually stood up for us that day and said, I'll do it if my writers get more money. Do you remember that?
She said, make sure the writers get more money.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't say a specific amount.
No,
But
but
the
more.
producer agreed to it. And then later, you're right. We had to kind of like say,
Kinda
hey,
shame
what
them
happened
into
to
it.
our extra
Yeah.
money?
Yeah, that was not good.
So that's what I'm talking about by protection.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guild would have taken care of that without us having to like go beg for our own money that we were promised.
Also, with a guild contract, you're guaranteed 13 weeks or 26 weeks, and if they fire you, they have to pay off the remainder. That's happened to me in other jobs, and it's nice.
All right, so I'm sorry I interrupted, but at points where I think we should stop, I'll stop you like that. So we are at the point where we want better wages, health benefits.
We want a guild minimum contract, which calls for a minimum salary, which is what every other comedy writer in TV makes, just about, and it's a lot more than we're getting now.
A lot more.
We would also get a medical insurance, dental insurance, a pension plan, and we would get residuals, which means you get a small amount of money when the show is rerun.
Right.
Which everyone deserves. I mean, let's
and
be
it
honest.
reruns a million
Everyone
times.
else in television gets.
Right.
And it's not like a sitcom where it's going to rerun throughout history. It's only going to rerun for 1 week, and then maybe if they have to replace a show, they'll run it again or
They
something.
could also do a best of, but Fashion Police airs I think 9 times a week,
9 times a week, and it goes internationally.
and it goes overseas. Yeah,
Right.
to countries where they don't even wear clothes. Isn't that weird?
Is that true?
Fashion Police is huge in Ghana.
What?
Really?
They don't have TV there, but I'm saying it's big in other parts of the country. Some of which wear clothing, some of which don't.
I was so
interested.
interested to know what
was
country
like,
doesn't wear
really?
clothes.
Crazy.
How about Miatopia? No, but it is popular in the UK, other parts of Europe, Asia, and yet it doesn't seem to matter as far as our compensation at all. And but clearly they're making money from that.
Oh yeah, of course they
Yeah.
are. It's one of the
It's-
highest rated shows on the network.
Yeah,
right?
it goes back and forth, right? It depends. I mean, obviously, we're not adding Kardashians because sometimes when they're on, they are the highest rated, aren't they?
That show is the highest rated show on E in the U.S. I don't know about the rest of the world.
Right.
But
for a scripted show,
scripted comedy
ours
show, ours
and
is the
Chelsea kind of go back, right? Or is ours the
I
highest?
think we tend to be higher.
That's
Really?
what I heard
That's
too.
great. Great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a funny show.
It is a funny
People just
show.
deserve to be paid.
Right.
what
And
they
Joan
need
is
to
a
be getting
much
paid.
bigger
Joan's a
star
huge
than
star.
Chelsea.
And I have to
Yes.
say, this has been a really nice next chapter in Joan's amazing career.
Right.
Before Fashion Police, Joan wasn't on as much, but
Right.
now I really think it's I think
huge.
she's got to be delighted with this.
Now, did this come
She's
about?
right back in the mix.
Yeah.
Did this come about after? Did you start writing after The Apprentice? Did the Apprentice sort of boost her up, or was she
Celebrity
already doing it?
Apprentice?
I don't remember what the time frame was on this.
Huh.
There was more interest in Joan after that documentary that came out that was
Right.
wonderful.
Right.
And maybe that's when she got The Apprentice, but I really don't remember. I think she got The Apprentice after Fashion Police went on the air. I
Interesting.
believe, and then she won that. Yeah. So it's been a good time for Joan, and God bless her.
And see, I think what, and I don't know if it's something we can or can't say. I'm sure we can. I think what people don't understand is they probably assume that we're millionaires for writing for such a high-rated show. Why do you need more millions?
Right. I keep hearing that from people like, how much money do they need? I've heard that and read that a lot. People have no idea.
You don't
that guys
realize
are really
if I work every episode, which takes about 4 to 5 days, depending on when they send the looks, and if not, then we go hours because I'll stay up, 16 hours a day writing.
Yes. It's a phenomenal
It's a
amount of work.
phenomenal amount of work, but I think what they don't realize if I
For
work,
the pay. It's a phenomenal amount of work for the pay.
yeah, 4 weeks out of the month, it only covers my rent and one bill.
Yeah.
And that doesn't, it's not even a fifth of my bills
Yeah.
for the month.
And Los Angeles is a great city, but it's very expensive.
A third, maybe. It's
mean-
1/3 of what all
There's
my
two
bills.
things going on. There's the people think that TV writers are millionaires, which is
Right.
just. I had to lay off a lifeguard and a maid today. So this is where the rubber hits the road.
God, that's hard.
Yeah, and
Jesus, I'm
in
so
my-
sorry. What did your butler
That was
say?
in my West Hollywood home. So he doesn't speak that much English,
Yeah, good.
which is better. Believe me,
pay them
in
less.
the long run, you can trust them.
Right.
They don't steal as much.
Right.
Some of the people that work in Fashion Police make $15 an hour, which is what you get at In-N-Out Burger,
Right.
and they get benefits.
Yeah.
Same with Starbucks.
Right. So we're not talking about
Who happens to be a
that level of
sponsor of
pay
the
at all.
show, and if anyone from Starbucks is listening, maybe you can support us in this. And
And if not, are you hiring? It's just a question. Those little comments on the cups don't write themselves.
that's right. That's right.
And I know how to make
Ooh,
coffee.
don't they have a funny
True.
board every day? Joke of the day? Maybe we could just get a job doing
I
that.
don't think they do.
They
but-
have that prediction. They have the riddle.
Oh, it's a riddle, damn it. It
What
should be
is
a joke.
always dry but never gets wet? Or they're always those. It's
It's not Lindsay Lohan.
You have. been
She's
on the show
never
a long time.
dry.
And then the other question is the pay compared to where we live and so on. To me, it's more an issue of what the show generates and what there's an industry standard. People who work in television, on network television shows, writing jokes, pretty much all get some, work within guild minimums. It's unusual not to, unless you're just starting out, like many of us have done on MTV or something. And once E became a signatory network by giving Chelsea and the Soup guild contracts. That was it. They have no further moral standing to tell us, no, we don't give out guild contracts. Of course
Right.
you do. You give out lots of them.
Well, the other thing
So
people
they have
need,
no argument. They have no leg to stand on.
the other thing that people need to understand about this entire process that we're going through is that on our pay stubs, they pay us for 8 hours only.
Right.
And there's no way that we only work 8 hours.
No.
Because we go to a pitch meeting
That's a 16-hour day. The pitch meeting Wednesday is a 16-hour day for me.
and tell them why.
Because I get up early in the morning, finish my writing, go to the meeting, which is 3 or 4 hours long.
4 usually,
Yep.
yeah.
And then there's a 2-hour break after the meeting, which isn't a break because I go home and keep working. And then we get the requests for new
Well, it's
jokes.
a 2-hour drive home if you live in LA traffic.
Yes.
But I wouldn't even but during that downtime, I know what new jokes need to be worked on, what pictures need more jokes, and so we just keep working.
So what happens
And
is
then we
after
get the joke requests, and then
Right.
we're up till
Well, explain that. After we do the pitch meeting, they take all of these jokes that we've written for the whole week, and then they tell us we need 50 more by midnight, right?
3 a.m.
Whatever. it is.
Usually 3 a.m.
Right. So that's another, you're right. So
Another
like
whole
a
writing
16-hour day on
Yeah.
a Wednesday.
Yeah,
And we're paid 8 for the entire week, 8 hours.
yeah, it doesn't add up at all.
No, it absolutely does not add up.
And no benefits.
And
It's just bizarre.
And
they have to know this.
They have to know it. And
You
the
couldn't
show,
possibly write that many jokes in 8 hours. Nobody could.
no, I don't know how anyone thinks that that's possible.
And in fairness, I'm going to show the other side of this. In fairness, they could say, you guys knew what you were getting into when you decided to do this and you accepted it. And of course, for me at least, and you, I know, it's an honor to work with Joan Rivers and to put words into
it's a
her
terrific
mouth
thing.
and things like that. Amazing
Yeah.
Terrific
feeling.
thing, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing feeling, but it's not, once you've done it long enough and you realize how much work it is, it's not worth the pay. It's just not. I mean, it's not worth it's embarrassing when people say, God, how much do you make on that show? And if they're a close enough friend, you have to tell them.
To me, it has a lot. It reminds me of many other things in our line of work. When a show is hiring, they say, "What do you have?" And you write some jokes for them for free.
Right.
But it's like casting bread on the water. Like, we like these jokes. You're hired, and then you get paid back. Like the way I see the situation, for 2.5 years, E has gotten the show for cheap, for
Yep.
pennies.
Oh, yeah.
And then good for them. But now we're going to make it a little more fair. We're going to spread it around a little. After 2.5 years of really raking in the money.
Yeah. And again, this is a successful show. It's not a show that's just scraping by, the network's having to keep afloat and throw in money into. It's one of their top rated shows. I mean, it's not like they don't have the money to go around and to give everyone this contract. It's not going to make the show suffer at all. It's not that kind of situation.
It's owned by Comcast.
Right.
Right.
There's billions.
Their pay-per value is $140 billion.
Yeah, they're the largest
change.
media company in
I
the
would
U.S.,
say, and
correct?
change. Yeah.
And the fact that they're fighting.
They own NBC. We're at Universal Studios. They own Universal Studios.
Oh, my God, they own this.
They own this, and yeah.
I know.
Please stand by. Strikers.
If anyone has been following this, we are at a sort of a standstill or standoff, let's say, where we are asking for a fair contract, right?
An impasse.
Yes, an impasse. And what they are requesting of us that we don't agree with is
They're insisting that we conduct an election to do a show of hands, if you will, to see how many writers on the staff support the idea of becoming a union show.
And aren't they claiming that's something that they have to do, quote unquote?
Yes.
Which isn't true, correct?
Not true.
Okay.
We spoke to our reps today. They said no NBC show has ever done a vote of this
Right.
kind.
They
It
made-
it
they-
has never happened.
they made Chelsea and the Soup do it. I wonder if they
Which
made
was a mistake.
I Love You, Mean It.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
Nope.
either. I think
Nope.
they just gave them a contract.
They came in on the coattails of that. Yep.
Right.
So it is not standard procedure. To the contrary.
But they're claiming to all their employees and all these memos they're sending out that
that's
it
the
is
word they're sending out.
mandatory from E for us to hold this election. And people say, well, then hold the election. What do we lose from that?
How do you mean? What did we lose?
Well, people, I'm sure, are, well, then hold your election so you can get your
they will
your contract.
contest. They will contest the results of the election, and that can take literally years. And they've done
How
it.
can they contest it if we all
this
raise our
person
hands?
This person should not have been allowed to vote. That person should not have been allowed to vote, and so on. And it goes.
Why?
they find reasons to do that. Tony can't vote. He's management and a writer. Joan can't vote. So-and-so can't vote. So-and-so's vote doesn't count.
All right, so let's say all of that.
But that all goes into this mess of. It can take years, and they've done it with other Comcast. This is standard procedure. Like the guys that install the wiring in Comcast studios. They're in a union too, or they're trying to be in a union. And when that started, Comcast did the same thing. Well, you'll have to hold an election, won't you? And then it went into this endless loop of delay. So this is textbook union busting. This calling for this phony election. That doesn't have to happen.
And our response always was back to E that we have already decided we want the Guild to represent us. Please speak to our representatives at the Guild. And it's always been no.
Nope, not until you hold
have
an
election.
Yeah.
They even invited us to E to have a meeting, and we said, fine, as long as we can bring our representatives from the Guild. And they told us no.
I mean, how shady is that?
That's pretty
how
shady.
Unnecessarily shady is that? Come on.
They even said they are not in the Cool Kids Club. And I said, no, wait a minute. Now you've crossed the line, mister.
Yeah, it's one of those things where even going in through this process myself, it does feel catch-22-ish. We want something that seems simple, and they are fighting it, obviously, because of, like you said, because it's a stalling tactic. But what's interesting is we do have lawsuits against them,
Right.
totaling less than what they could pay us for a year. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
It is amazing.
It's amazing. And they're going to spend so much money on lawyers
Yeah.
fighting all of this
Yeah.
that, unbelievable. All we want to do is go back to work and be treated fairly and get the wages that
Have
we deserve.
health benefits.
Health benefits.
Gosh, how crazy would that be?
I feel like, and this is, I don't want to make my parents sad because they watch this show, but I feel
This
like
is a radio show.
I know, but they do watch it. You can
I'm
see us.
sorry. Okay, yeah.
You can watch it on the internet.
Right.
But my brother and sister both passed away within the past 3 years, and I believe if they had good health insurance and coverage, they might still be alive. My brother
Probably.
went feeling like he was having a heart attack to the hospital, and he told his girlfriend, no, I'm fine, let's go. Because I'm sure he was afraid of a $2,000 emergency room bill because he couldn't afford it at all, and they left. The very next day, he had a heart attack and died. My sister had cancer, and they found it once it was already stage 4. Stage 4, if she had good coverage, they would have found it, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that scares me, And I have a daughter, and I'd like,
Yeah.
there's a million things I would like.
I had health insurance for a long time because I was on Guild shows for quite a long time. And my health insurance ran out April 1st. And I'm telling you, it is bizarre.
And
It's
see,
scary.
I can't go to the doctor now.
Yeah.
I had 2 surgeries last year. I'm being treated for high cholesterol and a couple other things. And I went to the doctor last time and I said, well, yeah, my insurance lapsed. How much is the visit? And she said $250.
right.
I said, first of all, I'm not paying you $250.
Right.
But it's just a bizarre
Yes.
feeling.
No
one's, I'm not saying anyone's, it shouldn't be, it's hard to put this.
Are you not trying to say healthcare should be free?
Everything of value costs something.
I
But it
agree.
is just such a bizarre sensation to have it for so long and then it went away.
Yeah.
Right.
And, we have one of our writers, Jackie Beat, just had double hip replacement surgery. He had to have these benefits.
Which Joan did go
Which,
to.
good for her, yes.
And
But it's-
contributed to him.
And, good for that. But it's kind of like saying, I won't give you a raise, but here's a sandwich.
right.
Wait a minute, I'll take the raise, thank you. If
Right.
Jackie had medical insurance through the Guild, because this is a Guild show,
Right.
he would never have had to
Right.
go out to a group of friends
And beg to friends.
for money.
Right.
Right.
It's
Beg for money.
embarrassing.
Although the show was amazing. But he had to beg for money in clubs and online.
And, I've got to point this out. Rebecca and I were on the road about 50 weeks a year. We were traveling always, doing stand-up.
On the run from the law.
That's right.
Yes.
And I told her, I said, I just can't do this having a daughter. I
know.
just can't
You
do
can't-
it.
you can't be away.
And I said, you know what? I'll go out 20 weeks a year. That's easy. I mean, that's one Wednesday, at the end of the month and another, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I found the Fashion Police stuff, and I got it like 7-8 months ago or whatever it was now, and I thought, great, now I can be on the road less, and now it's a little bit scary because I kind of cleared my schedule.
Right.
And a schedule for a comic takes
6 months in advance.
3 to 6 months in advance.
Right.
So it's like while we're in this period, I mean, it's got to be tough on everybody. You don't have a stand-up to do. You're not a stand-up comic.
I have nothing.
Right.
I don't know what I don't know what's next.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very scary time.
It is a scary time, but I feel like
everybody.
we're doing the right thing.
Absolutely, of
I
course.
couldn't keep doing what we were doing.
For the amount of money.
For the
Right.
amount of money.
Every step of the way, every meeting was, eventually we're gonna. Yeah, I said, yeah, I know, but I have to do. I mean, I couldn't turn back.
Right.
I couldn't. I'm not going to go back to those because the old days.
How long were you asking for it?
How long have I been working on this?
Yeah.
2 years.
Wow.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. You've been working on this for 2 years. You
Trying to
started-
make this happen for 2 years.
Really? You went to them 2 years ago and was like, we need to become union.
Would not meet with me. Would not discuss it.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know
Scheduled
that.
meetings and then cancel them and then did it again and again. It was bizarre.
Wow. Oh, that's
It was really bizarre.
long time.
And at that time, I was working on her reality show. We were very friendly. I was friendly with the whole.
They
she
can
does
hear
with the
you when
whole
you
group.
whisper.
We're still on the radio.
Okay, the rest of this will be in a special dance. My hands tell the story. There may be a narration, though. So I was in a very good place, I thought, with Joan and Melissa and the whole organization.
Kit and caboodle.
And I kept scheduling. I said to their assistant, I just want to sit for 5 minutes and talk to them. Just tell them my story. Tell them, make our case. No.
No.
meeting.
Really? God, that is crazy.
Tuck it in the mic, baby.
Crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy.
It really, really is.
It
And
was just so weird.
And, we are in a weird place right
Like,
now.
even if your answer is no,
Yeah, just tell you no.
sit down with me for 5 minutes. Show me that respect. I would do that for you.
right?
Even if your answer is hell no, let's talk for 5 minutes. Nope.
How long?
Very strange. It doesn't make it. I don't understand. I don't. Why? Like you said, why can't you just sit down and say no then if that's how you feel? I mean, it doesn't.
It
It's
is weird.
really bizarre. Yeah. And why don't you? I mean, like, it's not like you're asking for something totally outlandish.
And when someone, I have to say, when someone won't talk to you,
Yeah.
it's not a good sign.
they're probably not proud of what they're doing.
Right.
Doesn't that just kind of make, just in human nature, doesn't that just,
Right.
Right.
What I don't have to tell you, but just in, it's a joke. It's a joke, my friend. I'll never do that again.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
You
When
just can't
someone
take
isn't
your
willing,
sunglasses, babe.
when someone doesn't want to discuss it, they
take
probably don't feel good about what they're doing about it.
Whatever it
gather.
is.
Yes, right. So
Right.
that's what we had.
So let me ask you this, because I don't remember the exact.
Is there a waitress here?
I wish.
I know,
I'm
right?
kidding.
I don't know the exact numbers, but
Jansen?
how long after Chelsea or the Soup
Poor guy.
did this election, which was a stall tactic, and also a way of like kind of negotiating them down, right, from what they wanted to about what they ended up with.
It made for a less good contract. Yes.
But how long did that take them after the election?
I think they held an election and they got their contracts 4 to 6 months later.
Wow.
That's quite a while.
So were they?
And I guess
stay-
it was ugly too.
Did they stay out of work during that time, or
No,
were
they kept working. They never went on strike. They kept working. They never went on strike.
We went on strike.
Yeah. But I guess the negotiations were not pleasant. There was a lot of, they were crossing the table from people, and it was not friendly at all.
So speaking of being on strike, there are a lot of writers in LA and a lot of stand-up comics that listen to this show. If you get a call or a friend gets a call or anyone you know to go write for the show, let them know that you support other writers,
Yes.
meaning us and the other group that we work with, and that you will not be a scab for multiple reasons. One, morally, it's the right thing to do to support people. We're
2 scabs are so last year. Do you see anyone wearing them anymore? No.
never.
It doesn't happen.
And two is, you'll be known as a scab. I mean,
It'll follow
it's
you,
hard to
yeah.
get work after that.
I hope people do know.
You might be the head writer of a show in
right.
2 years, and
Yeah.
you're not going to hire the guy that you know is a scab.
Absolutely.
I know.
People remember. Yeah.
People remember.
I hope there's a way of finding out who these scabs are.
Yeah, because there's people already, I think, starting to
Of
scab.
course, yeah, they are. I
think
mean,
so, yeah.
And
they're
we
still
will
doing the
find out who
show.
they are. There is a way. There is a way.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our gay mafia is on it.
They always get their man.
I'm serious.
They sure do.
The gay mafia is on it. They call even I'm serious.
Grindr.
There's a
Grindr.
guy in the
Something
mail
to-
room who gets a call from one of our gay writers who calls another guy higher up, part of the gay mafia, and they'll find them, and we will know by the end. I mean, we already know who some of them
Come
are.
to me on the day of my son's gay wedding. They are relentless.
And may your first child be a gay child.
Oh, the gays are funny.
They are funny. Which we and maybe one more person are the only straight people writing for the show. Is that
That's
right?
right.
Wait a minute, babe. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of on strike.
That's right.
What? No, that doesn't track at all. We really are writers, though.
Yeah. You know what's funny? One of the guys said to me one day, we had a new guy. Like Rebecca filled in for when we were sick or whatever. And we had a new guy fill in one day. And afterwards I was like, hey, good job, buddy. And he's like, yeah, it was really tough considering all you guys are gay. And I'm the only straight one there. And I was like, why I oughta, you son of a...
What a strange thing to say.
Babe, were you wearing your pink shirt?
I probably was.
That would do it.
What a
Which
strange
one?
Was it the... Did you have a dick in your mouth when you said that?
Yeah.
Not my move. La, la.
I think he was thrown off because me and Ned usually hold hands at the meeting. And that's
Oh,
just
that is so cute, you
Haven't
guys.
you ever been to Africa? People hold hands all the time.
It's
not
normal in
weird.
other countries.
Sometimes after a good joke, I need to cuddle, and that's who I am, and that's what I'm about.
Right.
So work it.
Oh, man, babe.
I'm going through these talking points, trying to see. I want to cover everything because we have 20 minutes left on this show. If anyone has questions, again, you should see the number on your screen. If not, call 818-850-7746. Also, you can tweet questions to Stimulus Podcast.
You sure can.
And Rebecca always checks our Twitter.
Like I'm doing right now.
It says the government does not require an election, and neither does E, correct? Like, they say it's mandatory, but obviously they didn't do
they can
one
say
for...
anything they want.
They can say, that's right.
Company can say, Thursday is a red shirt day. It's mandatory. That means nothing.
Interesting.
Aren't I supposed to be drunk on my birthday show?
Oh, it's her
Didn't
birthday
you promise
show.
me
What,
Joe,
today?
No, it's on
booze?
Sunday, but...
It's Sunday, but
We are going to get
today's-
lit
Oh, yeah.
on your birthday.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
We'll pretend we're on the air.
I can't wait.
I actually want to read this point, one of these talking points. The very last one says, we are on strike because we want and we deserve to be covered by a Writers Guild of America contract and because the company is breaking the law. Anything else that they say is a distraction from that.
I would agree.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And I have to make this point. I don't know if this is said enough. And it's just my point of view. We each have a different take on everything. But my fight is with E. A lot of people say we're fighting Joan
Absolutely.
and whatever.
Nope.
I'm not fighting Joan Rivers.
No, it's E.
I'm fighting E.
Joan can't give us a contract.
Right.
You can
yes.
do that.
Right. That is correct.
Right. It's true.
And, part of it is we also want all of us to move on and stay there because she has a group of writers that's larger than Chelsea. And maybe that's something that E's worried about. But we're also an hour-long show, and they're a half hour, and we have less than double. Don't they have 7? And I think we have, if you count
everyone.
it. But we're really 9, aren't we? Our core group that is fighting for this.
Well, and the other thing is, it's not like they can fire. Okay, everyone's on strike right now. The core 9, you guys are on strike. They can't.
Rivers 9.
Rivers 9. They can't fire anyone once you come back to work because you guys are on strike. Like
No,
they'd
they
have to
can't.
come up with a
It's illegal.
legitimate reason, quote unquote, if they wanted to let people go at this point, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, I mean, which is good to know. You know what I mean? That they can't just be
we
like,
have certain protections with labor law. Yeah.
And we have been getting good publicity. I want to do
We
a
need
shout out
better
to Perez
publicity.
Hilton right
Yeah.
now.
Way to
Thank
go,
you
Perez.
so much, Perez. He's done at least 3 or 4 things for us so
been
far.
great. He's been
And
great.
put out videos. And he's the one who kept yelling, hey, writers, strike,
Yeah.
strike, strike.
It's true.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He's really been
been
great.
very
Who else?
helpful.
I mean, you know more of these people. Nikki Fink, right?
Nikki Fink.
But Perez especially.
Apparently, a bunch of writers
Yeah.
at Big Bang Theory,
Right. Modern
come out
Family.
supporting
Modern
us.
Family expressed their
And
support.
yesterday, writers for the Colbert Show and the Daily Show went to some events
In New York, yeah.
Yes, where Joan was hosting things there and passed out flyers saying,
Yesterday in New York was the upfronts for E.
yep, and something else, the Matrix.
The Matrix Award is a pretty big deal. It's for women in media, and the people who win it are like Barbara Walters and people like that. It's a pretty heavy group. So Joan was maybe emceeing it or something, and yeah, there were people there.
Yeah, but I really want to thank those writers. If you are listening or anyone knows any of them, thank you for going out and doing that
That was
for us.
great.
They went
Yeah.
out of their way. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah, there's strength in numbers, and when you get support from, any one of us individuals, that's why it was so. It was pointless when we started it because it was just me and Dennis. But once everybody else came along, all of a sudden they had
Right.
no choice. They have to listen,
Right.
and as long as we stick together,
Yeah.
we're going to win.
Yeah,
Right. And we should win.
absolutely.
And we're not asking, I think what the sad part is most people think we're being stubborn because that's the only part that E rebuts with. We've offered them a fair contract that we were willing to negotiate as long as they do the election. And I don't know if the American public even knows about this, first of all, but the ones that do, they're probably saying, why don't you do the stupid election? And it's because we have everything to lose and they have everything to gain.
Yeah.
Just give us the same, contracts that every show on your network has that's written except for ours.
They keep
Is there
saying-
one other written show that's not getting?
No,
No.
not an E. No, they keep saying not very many in television anywhere that I can think of. They keep saying we support a fair compensation for our writers,
Yeah, and that's it. That's
But
the only thing they're offering. They're not telling us specifically.
but they think our current compensation is fair.
Right.
They've
That's
said
what they're
that.
not telling. So, in other words, we do not support what
Right.
you're seeking. That's
Right.
very clear. It would
Or-
have happened by now.
Yeah, and they know the road that this is going to go down. It's not like they don't know how this is going to go. I mean,
Yes.
like you guys are going to come out on top at the end of this because at the end of this, you're going to have to get paid fair wages and get union benefits, and they're going to. I mean, and they have other shows that they've done this with before. That's what's so stupid, and they're just playing dumb at this point.
Something affected me really hard today. When I picked up my daughter from school, we got in the car and she was a little quiet. I'm like, you okay? And she goes, I've just been worried about you. And I said, why? She goes, Daddy, I could almost not concentrate in social studies or whatever it was. She goes, I just was staring at the floor thinking about how you're on strike and worried about, money and blah. And I said, honey, you don't need to worry about any of this. Your daddy always lands on his feet and everything's going to be fine. And I think she's also invested in it too because it means daddy gets to stay in town more. And that's a
Oh,
big
yeah.
deal.
How old is she?
She's 9. And
sweet
you
child.
talked to her when
Yes.
when I had just picked her up. We called you, but it was
We hit
just,
it off.
Yes, they hit it off very well. But she was so sweet about it. You could tell she was really concerned, and that really hurt me because I don't assume that she's thinking about what's going on. And part of this whole thing was we kept saying, "Hey, now that I work for Joan Rivers, blah blah blah, I'll be in town more. If it proves that it lasts, 9 months, then we can get a puppy because we've never been able to get a dog because we're always gone. And she's never had a dog or a pet.
And that's all she wants. Like that's all she talks about every
She's
single
talked about
birthday.
it
She's
since-
like, "All I want is a puppy," and it never happens. You know what I mean?
Ever, because we just can't
Terrible.
have an animal if we're gone 50 weeks a year.
Yeah.
If they won't do this for a puppy,
Do it for the puppy.
they're
E.
not
Yeah.
human.
Right.
Well.
And I know that's silly stuff, but to her, it's the
It's
biggest things in the
not.
world. It's wanting to see her daddy and wanting to have a puppy. Every kid should have
Not
a
in
puppy.
that order.
Right.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
they're both
You're
important.
right. I promise
That is
you. If she
definitely
could have a
true.
weekend with a puppy or a weekend with daddy.
She'd be like the puppy for sure.
For sure. I've seen daddy.
F him.
We'll send you text, Daddy.
Yeah.
But you have a family, and it's got to be tough on your wife, and everybody has families.
Yeah.
And friends and things that we want to do. And I mean, her birthday is this week, and I'm on strike, and I don't have comedy gigs lined up. And my daughter's birthday is 2 or 3 weeks after that. And
I want presents, God damn it.
Right, exactly. But I mean, just to live, we have to live. And it is not that what we were living off of before was enough, but it was enough to make my life easier, just not better. You know what I mean? Like, it got me off the road more, but it didn't improve my life financially. It just provided more time with my daughter.
But this union arrangement, this would give you real security.
Yes.
I agree. I
Yes.
agree. It would be really nice to. I would love to go to a doctor and not. And people are like, "Well, go buy insurance." I'm also SAG and AFTRA, which are the Screen Actors Guild and radio and television stuff. And I called them and asked, how much would it be if I just wanted to buy into the program? And they were telling me it would be like about $1,200 a month.
Oh yeah, I got the information for Cobra, which is what you get when your plan ends. You can carry on paying yourself.
Right.
Right.
I think it's $1,400.
Yeah. Maybe it
We
was
don't even have
$1,400.
kids. We don't even have kids.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Unbelievable.
no can do. Yeah.
And I'm sure we could buy shitty insurance somewhere, but it means nothing.
Oh yeah, they have lesser ones,
Right.
which cover
Get like $180 a month.
20% or something.
Right.
It's like a
So
joke.
So why are you paying it
Yeah.
anyway? if
Even
you're not
mid-rate insurance is like a
Just
joke. I mean,
doesn't
it's
pay to get sick.
right.
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 When my sister got sick, I think she was covered up to $10,000. Well, that doesn't help stage 4 cancer.
No.
It's very, very scary.
Wow.
And luckily, and also I want to thank people for that. Everyone came together for my sister. Everyone sent her money. Strangers, people on Facebook.
It was really amazing.
People listen to this podcast. Really, that was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And we will be doing some benefits, and it's not just to raise money, but also raise awareness.
Yes.
And we'll be getting some big celebrities to be on these, and politicians and other people, and we'll announce those soon on this show.
Yep.
But I hope and encourage all of you to be a little more proactive in this fight with us. If you're fans of ours, or if you just fell in love with Ned, who's a great
And
man.
why wouldn't you, for Christ's
Yeah,
sakes?
he really
Look
is
at
a
him.
nice guy. Like,
come on, America. Don't be dead
I really
inside.
fell in love with
He
Ned.
likes puppies.
I fell in
Come
love
on.
the first day I went to Fashion Police. I came home and she said, "Are the writers good?" And I said, "They're all good." And I said, "But there's this one guy whose jokes made me laugh the hardest today." And we all know that it goes up and down on everybody's
Everybody,
jokes.
yeah.
But your day was my day. You know what I mean? That day when I
Thank
came
you.
in, I'm like, "That's the guy."
That was nice.
And you're always funny. And you always make me laugh.
So
but,
are you.
But I hope that you fall in love with Ned and you realize that we're dealing with nice people. Maybe you're a fan of Jackie Beat and you can somehow get involved in this.
I've gotten so much closer to the writing staff through this process. I never socialize with people.
Maybe we should say their
I
names.
really feel friendly and truly fond of every single person.
I think
a
we
nice
should. I think
group.
we should say some of their
And
names.
I think, sure.
Because people might know them and go, "Oh, I didn't realize that so and so." Brian Cook, who's a comedian. Eliza Skinner, comedian.
Writer, actress.
Writer, actress, right. Or whatever. Maybe she's your best friend, but you didn't know it because you weren't reading her Twitter or whatever, and she's not coming over and telling you. Rob Nolan, Jackie Beat, Michael Prescott,
Todd Masterson.
Dennis
Dennis Hensley.
and that's the core group of 9, including me and you. And Rebecca is right now a replacement writer on the show, but you've been involved heavily. They asked you to come scab, and even if I wasn't your boyfriend, there's no way you would have, right?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Because it's the wrong thing to do. You just don't do that when people are on strike.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, it's
And she was so mad.
sad.
I mean, she just started becoming a replacement writer.
I know, which I've been trying to do for 8 months. I was like, finally! And then, like, my first
God
weekend,
damn it.
this bullshit goes down. I was like, God damn it.
well. The best
motherfucker.
one was the day we decided to confront Joan.
Yeah?
We call it Black Sunday sometimes. We all agreed before the meeting starts, we're going to say, Joan, before we pitch our jokes, we want to talk to you about the guild matter.
You're whispering again.
Yeah. This is the scary
They can
part,
they can
children.
see and hear you.
Next thing you know. No. So this was the day we were going to we were going to make our,
Right.
draw our line in the sand or whatever. And that day, there was a brand new writer at the table.
Oh,
her name was
yeah.
Sarah or something. She seemed
Yeah.
nice and friendly, and I'm sitting there chatting with her. I'm like, dear, in about 5 minutes,
You have no idea what's about to happen.
this room is going to
And we were so nervous, all of us. Like, we were all sort of like,
We had a pep talk before the meeting. We all did like a high,
Yeah.
whatever gay guys do for a high five.
we all met at Starbucks, right?
We almost did a
In
shot.
Malibu.
That's what gay guys do for a high five.
I kid.
What?
I kid.
Starbucks.
No,
We go to
had a
Starbucks
well,
and
there's
hug.
a Starbucks at the bottom of the hill before you go
PCH
up.
and, yeah,
to the
Sunset.
palatial estate where our boss lives.
correct.
So,
Yes,
and we
true.
were psyched, but we were nervous. And before the meeting started, I said, Joan, before we pitch our jokes, there's something we'd like to talk to you about. And that was met with a big no. And I said, wait, are you sure you won't even, are you saying you won't even discuss this with us? And then the screaming started, a lot of yelling and banging on tables. And this poor woman was sitting right next to me going, is this what your meetings are like?
I know, and you
It
know,
was so perfect.
you know what's crazy
It
too?
was
It's like he
frightening.
said, she had no idea. And here's the thing: when you meet Joan Rivers, she is bigger than life, and she is this comedy legend. And you know that this was the first time this girl ever saw her.
Mm-hmm.
And Joan just walks in because she doesn't sit there with us for an hour
No.
beforehand. She's just now seated and goes, "All right, let's start." And then he ruins this poor girl's fantasy forever. I mean, it just.
Oh my God, that's
yeah.
so funny. You know, that girl was like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
going on right now?
I think somebody even said something after I left, like, we don't usually do this or something, because it was like
I actually
would
turned
tell
to her
people,
and I was like, "You got punked."
that's what it was. You said it. You got punked. That was a great line. Oh, man. I was telling somebody, they did everything but throw plates at us.
Unbelievable.
They were furious. And this poor woman was just sitting there. Oh, she had her jokes already.
Ready. Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Ned, sadly, we're out of time, but we're going to make this a practice on this show.
Yes.
We jump onto things. Like, we loved the Joe Schmo show.
Yeah.
And so for, what was it,
10 weeks.
10 weeks, we had every cast member from Joe Schmo show on,
It was
including
so
executive
fun.
producer, and it was really fun. And
Yeah.
obviously, this is our fight. So you're welcome back every Tuesday, and so is the rest of the people that we
Yes.
just named. And hopefully our Writers Guild representatives can come out and start. And if you guys get bored listening to this, well, too bad. You need to tell everyone to tune in and start listening every Tuesday until this is over, and then keep listening anyway.
Yes.
Yes, because it's a good show.
Good ideas.
And yeah, and hopefully we'll bring in some, actors and celebrities to also be here talking about
Until
it.
this show goes on strike. But that's...
It's our show.
that
She
could
could
be-
strike from me, but she's my boss, so
That's right.
and I'm not really going to strike her. Ned, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
doing the
inviting me.
show.
This was
You
a
are
blast.
awesome.
Yeah, this was great, right?
Come back anytime.
Thank you.
Jansen, who runs stuff, thank you very much.
I'm going to
man.
get information out of you, Jansen.
Again, check us out. We're here every Tuesday, Pacific Standard Time from 7 to 8 p.m. We're on the GoCast Network. If you check us out on iTunes, download us. We have about 100 episodes, the stimulus package, tons of great celebrities to listen to and really fun stories. And tell your friends and follow us at Twitter, Stimulus Podcast, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.